Howdy folks, Todd from Great Escape Farms here. What you're looking at is my food forest. It is a 2-year-old food forest. I do actually have some stuff really starting to take off here, so I'm kind of happy about that. It was an unplanned, well, I wouldn't say unplanned. I planned to put it here. I didn't plan it out very well as far as what went where with trees and stuff like that. I just kind of started willy-nilly throwing stuff in because I was in a permaculture course and wanted to get one going, so I just started planting stuff in here, and it worked out okay because I did have a lot of stuff die out on me, and so I do have pretty decent spacing here. If I had it to do over again, I would have planned it out better, but this worked for me. I'm 2 years into this, and now having taken quite a few PDCs and done a lot of studying on this, I think I'm finally up to the point where I can actually plan one of these out on paper really good and actually put it in, instead of just doing it, like I say, willy-nilly here. So I'm getting ready to give you a walk through here. Let me cover a few things that you can see from my vantage point right here. That is my water harvesting system I used last year for 1,200 gallons. If you'll notice, that one is, there's 2 IBC totes there, and there's another 2 here under the black cover. These were under black cover last year, but I was doing a video and I took black cover off to show something and never put it back on. They are empty right now, and they are actually going to be replaced, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the whole premise of this is I take water from these gutters, bring it down here. I have a filtration system here, and it stores water. So that's 1,200 gallons. I have 4 IBC totes, each one 300 gallons. They are going to be replaced this year with 3 of these 1,500 gallon tanks. So I'm going to have a total of actually it's going to be close to 1,600 gallons, because I'm going to end up tying the 1,500 gallons plus the 1,200 gallons all together, and I'll put a 1,550 gallon there, a 1,550 gallon there, another one around the corner, and then I'll put the IBC totes along here. I get mostly shade along this side of the garage here, so I can't plant too much. Right now you see sun, but it's early morning. In the winter, I'm sorry, in the summer, when the sun changes, that's going to be mostly shade, so that'll be a good place to put my IBC totes. Let's see, so that's another project for another day. I have videos out on this, and I'll be doing more videos on rainwater harvesting. Okay, right here you'll see I have a string, and the string actually has a wire in it, and I'm connected up, and I have insulators here, and I have a solar charger down there, and I have a 2-inch by 4-inch fence here, and just up above it I have one high voltage string, and then I have another high voltage string up just above that, and then about every 4 feet I have one running this way, and then over here I have another one running this way. And the whole idea of that is to keep, let's see, the 2x4 fence keeps the groundhogs out. Doesn't really keep rabbits out, they can get right through that, but it does keep the groundhog out as far as easy access. He could dig under, but if I see an issue, I'll just drop a high voltage string down to deter him a little. Let's see, as far as the high voltage up high, that is to keep deer out. And the premise is that the deer can't just walk over it, they would have to hop. If they did hop over it, they're going to hit another string, and it's also access somewhat of a confined space for them. So I have done this for over a year now, and it has worked great. I've had no issues. I've had one deer get in here, and he obviously got out in a hurry because he actually broke through a couple of my lines, so, and he didn't do any damage to my plants. So okay, I said I would show you my solar charge controller, and as I come here, the dogs have got to be the star of the show here. So this is a solar charge controller, so this electrifies my fence here, and during the winter months it gives me 5,000 to 6,000 volts. During the summer months it gives me 9,000 volts. There's actually a setting for winter and summer. Has a battery in it, so I'm not connected to line power anywhere, and this thing is absolutely wonderful. So right now it's off, so I can get in, and I usually have it off when I have the dogs around. So my little dog Murphy, this one right here, went ahead and he zapped himself with it once, and he yelped and he stepped back, but he didn't really learn respect from it the first time around. Second time around, he came out in the morning and got himself wet with a little dew, and then he got wrapped up in it. Ooh, I'll tell you what, he didn't come outside for like 2 days. He came out, he peed, and went right back inside. He didn't, and this dog loves the outdoors, so it can definitely make you think. So anyhow, this is part of my deer deterrent. I love that unit right there. I'm actually going to be replacing this soon because I put in the solar charge controller because my garage didn't have power initially. So now it has power. So I'm going to hook one up to line voltage here. Maybe with a battery backup, I'll put an ups or something on it just to keep the deer away. But this one I have use for elsewhere where I don't have power. So I'm going to repurpose it. Okay, so what is a food forest? So basically a food forest is a whole bunch of plants that you put together in a forest-like fashion. And the food forest part, the food is you put edible plants in. So I have a lot of edibles as well as some plants to help out the edibles. So let's see. I'll just start running through. I'm not going to go through all these because I have several hundred plants in here. But this one right here in front of me, this is a sand cherry. It is a type of bush cherry. This one right here is a chestnut tree, a Chinese chestnut tree, and it's just starting to get blooms on it. You can see right there in my hand. And then I do have some traditional raspberry trees here. This one right here is one of several different flavors of elderberry that I have in here. This one right here, while not edible, it's pretty, and it's a mimosa tree, and that will help fix nitrogen for me by dropping lots of leaf litter as well as in its root system. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let me come over to this one. And this tree right here is a plum tree, and it is called the autumn rose plum. And the way that I know that is I have these little aluminum tags here, and they give me the common name, then the botanical name, the year that I planted it, and then there's a number next to it. And I actually have a map. I don't know if you can see that. I actually have a map of this entire food forest, and there is a little dot on that map that equates to this number's 306. So it tells me that this is 306, and I have more information on this. I can find out where I bought this from, when I bought it, what it likes as far as sunshade. So I keep a little list of everything going on with it. These little, where is it? You can see one right there, and there's one out here. These little orange flags, those are all fiddlehead ferns. So I bought a bunch of those last year, and they die right down to the ground and then come back each year. So can't see a whole lot with those right now. This up here, this one is a Viking aronia, and this came from a cutting. Actually, you can see the cutting right there, the very tip of it. And that is a cutting that I planted last year from my garden, and it's got little blooms on it getting ready to bloom out, so it's doing fine. There's another elderberry right there. And this is another aronia right here. This one is a McKinsey aronia. Sorry, I keep getting in the way and giving a shadow there on you. So that's a McKinsey aronia. And let's see, in the back section, and you can't see them right now, I do have several different blueberries coming in. So I did a row of blueberries in the back. So there's one down there. There's one right there not doing so well. There's one right there. One right there. So I have those kind of spread throughout. Here's another raspberry. This is a different one. This is a millstone. Is that what? No, I'm sorry. It's a Wilmetta. So I would have to look up and see what that one is. Here's another elderberry here. And here I have a Rosa rugosa plant. The taller one right there, that is a Nanking cherry bush. And that actually flowered out this year for the first time in this one, in this food forest. So hopefully I'll get some cherries on that one. That is a bush type cherry. Let's see, we'll wander on down. And as I'm wandering, there's little plants all over the place. So I'm trying not to step on those, as well as show you the interesting ones here. I did purchased some figs last year from Lowe's or Home Depot. One of them, they had a couple of end of year sales, so I just went ahead and tossed them and see how they would do. This is a mulberry right here. I think this is a Wellington mulberry. You can see it's getting ready to bud out there. Lots of buds there. The one down here is a, what is it? It's a variegated, I forget the name. It's one of the advantages of having tags right here. I don't have to look at a map and find it. It's a silverberry, so it's called a golden silverberry. And that is a nitrogen fixer as well as a berry producer. So haven't had any berries on it yet. Hopefully I will this year, and it almost looks like it's got some kind of nondescript flowers there. So who knows? We've had a weird year with things going way down below freezing and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. I planted a bunch of onions in here. So that one is an Egyptian walking onion. So I put a bunch of perennials in throughout. This is a daylily, Stella d'Oro daylily, and those are actually edible. Right here I have a anise hyssop. Has a licorice flavor, the leaves do, and it will come back every year. And let's see, what is this one right here? Oh, this is a redstone cornelian cherry. So it is a dogwood with edible fruit. So I'm kind of anxious for that one. This one didn't flower, but I do have some other ones down here that did flower this year. And I have some permaculture plants up here. Well, I'll get into them in a minute. Here's another Wellington mulberry, and it appears to have made it. It has little buds on it. Right here is a permaculture plant, or one that you hear in permaculture a lot. That is the starting of a comfrey plant coming up. And another raspberry there. In case you haven't figured out, I love my raspberries. Okay, let's look at this guy here. So you can see him. He's got loads and loads of little buds and flowers coming out, and this is a sand cherry. So again, that's another bush cherry. Right here, I have a goji berry starting out, kind of small right now, but it's going to get much larger. And let's see, right here, the big one, that is a pecan tree. And I was talking with my brother from Texas, where they have a lot of pecan down there, and he says that thing is going to get huge and kind of 50 foot around. So I may have issues with that one, and that one may have to get dug up or moved somewhere. So we'll see how we go with that one. This right here, let me pick a leaf off, squash it. I smell it. Yeah, it smells like a lemon pledge. So this is a lemon balm. It's in the mint family, and it is a perennial. Comes back every year. You can add it to salads and kind of spice up life with a salad a little bit. And what else? Okay, I got one here, and this one is another dogwood tree. In the back here, I believe it's another mulberry. Yeah, I brought this one from Stark Brothers. This one is an Illinois everbearing mulberry. So I love the Illinois everbearing. This one, it produces a crop of fruit that lasts about 6 to 8 weeks. Not a single piece of fruit, but it starts producing in around early July and goes all the way up into September. So they produce little by little, and that's very, very neat. What you can't see here is I have a bunch of elderberry in here. So all in this brush. So hopefully I'm going to end up with a good elderberry patch in the back here. And let's see, there's another blueberry. This blueberry is actually looking pretty good right here. Flowering out a lot better than the other one, so it gets more sunshine here. And here's another perennial. This is Transylvanian sorrel. So that will come back every year. Again, there's another comfrey plant, if I can get my shadow out of the way. This is a red aronia plant. So the berries are red, which is interesting. And let's see, this is a thyme bush. So I went through my garden. Dang it, I'm in the shadow again. So I went through my garden last year and I transplanted. I just put a shovel right through a lot of my perennial plants, and then I moved them out here, and they are all doing very, very well. Okay, let's come down here, and I forget what this one is. Is it a quince? Yes, this one is an orange quince, and it seems to be doing pretty good. So this one is should be a relatively dwarf tree. That is a York elderberry. It's the only York variety that I have, so I'm hoping to get some good rootstock off of that one. And that little one right there is an aronia, a Viking aronia. And this is another type of elderberry here. This one is an American elderberry, so that is one of them that's native around here. My other varieties are European varieties. And I skipped over hundreds and hundreds of plants when I was walking around, some of the smaller ones. I mainly showed you the bigger ones. So from the other direction, that's what the food forest looks like. The whole reason I put this in is I had the garage off to the right put in, and I had some earthworks done over here, and it was mainly just to, I had raw earth here, so I decided, well, that's where I'm gonna put a food forest. I'm not gonna plant grass or anything. And that's extended. If you'll notice, I have a lot of bags of leaves here and up there, so I am gonna go up another 60, 70 feet up here. I already have plants in there. You see the fence around them. Fence are to keep the deer out. And I'm gonna take the leaves, and I have some hay and some wood chips and stuff like that. I'm gonna go ahead and, like I say, go another, I don't know, 80 feet or so up here and extend the food forest. So right now I have mostly trees and stuff planted up there. I will add in some herbaceous and some bushes up there. I have a lot of pawpaw trees up there. So last fall I had a real love for pawpaw trees. So anyhow, I think I've taken enough of your time here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, and I hope you have a wonderful day.